Hi, I'm David Pidgeon, the CEO of Star Power, inviting you to the 2025 Star Power Expo this weekend. This isn't just any sales event. It's your chance to experience the latest tech products and upgrade your home at unbeatable prices, like up to 80% off a huge selection of luxury appliance demo models. And if you visit starpowerexpo.com, you'll get immediate access to extra savings you won't find anywhere else. See what's new at the Star Power Expo. For details, visit starpowerexpo.com.
With the VSP Individual Vision Plan, you're the one pulling the strings. Because when getting vision coverage through work isn't an option, taking care of your eye health comes with a lot of decisions that only you should make. Like choosing how to save on the lens enhancements you need, the right name brand frames for your style, and choosing your eye doctor from the nation's largest independent doctor network. Even how you enroll is up to you. Make the best decisions for your vision at the eye doctor's office, retail locations, and online with VSP Individual Vision Plans.
Back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankle.
Throws. It is caught. Touchdown.
Drops back to throw. It's picked up. Touchdown.
Shotgun snap. Under pressure. Ball is through.
This is the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Mean Gene.
Pack it up, pack it in.
Pack it up, pack it up. Folks, get ready for the Mean Gene Show. We are on here, ESPN 97.5. And you know what? It is a Sunday football show. We're getting ready to go over everything that happened in Week 9 of the NFL. Me and Jacob Meadows from the Coach's Corners podcast.
What's up, Mean Gene? How are you tonight? It is a beautiful rainy night in Houston. There are wrecks all over the place, and it was awful here today.
I'm in a great mood. I'm happy as hell because the Dallas Cowboys lost today. Oh, I'm sorry, AJ. Our producer, AJ, behind the glass, the man behind the wheels of stills. AJ, you okay? Are you okay?
Your mic's not on.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Yeah, imagine being that worried about another team that it. Come on,
no.
That's how you know that you still live rent free in everybody's
When I came
head.
in here, you had one leg off the fourth story.
No, I didn't. Nah, never contemplating something like that. I'm good, regardless. Okay. I mean, we all recognize that Jerry Jones is a problem, but we'll talk about that later. Though.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, and look, we have an in-studio guest, not really a guest, good friend of mine, a mentor. You know, next week now we will not have a show next week because it's the Veterans Day, so we're gonna kind of celebrate it a little bit early next Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday the 11th, or is it Monday the 11th? Right.
Yeah,
it's Veterans Day, and you guys, if you follow the Mean Gene Show on our podcast, there, you know we always do something big. Jacob, you remember in Las Vegas we had the Army and the Navy out.
We sure did. Yes,
they came out in uniform. So this week, just in celebration of Veterans Day, I brought in my mentor. This man I have known for over 40-something years. We were talking about that today, and I won't even tell you how old I was. I won't tell you how old he is now, but he is a retired lieutenant commander, United States Navy, Tony King. Yeah, get in that mic, man. Jump in that mic there. Yeah. So look here, and I forgot to add a huge sports fan. And oh yeah, by the way, he loves the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't boo us. Don't boo us. Hey,
long time coming. We're trying to get back there where we need to be at.
So Tony, okay, your first time hanging out in Houston, right?
Yeah.
You enjoying the city?
Yes. Thank you. Great. I've been hearing a lot about Houston. Came down, got a chance to visit some of the sites. Had a great time. So, thank you for having me.
And I want to apologize now for the way folks have, they drive. You and your wife, Angie. I know it's nothing like getting ran off the road in H-Town. Happens all the time.
Yeah. Well, my sister, she's from Texas. She's in Texas, so she kind of warned me before we came down here.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so that's cool. All right, well, look, we're gonna have a great show. We got what we got here. So it's Week 9 of the NFL. We were not here last week because the Dallas Cowboys were too busy losing on our Sunday night time slot there. which they played the Sunday night game. So we really won't get into that because we're going to talk about what happened today. So we're going to break down the Thursday night football game, which was the Texans and the Jets. And you guys know heading into today, week 9, okay, the Chiefs and the Lions are still the league's best team. The Chiefs are undefeated. The Lions just keep on beating people. They are, 7-1 now. And then we had like 6 teams heading into today. 6 teams with only 2 losses, 6 teams with 3 losses, and that includes the Texans.
Yes,
they're in there. And then, so we'll talk about that because things are changing here in the NFL. And I mean, week 9, we are more than halfway, right?
We're right there at the cusp. Yeah, man. It's been a crazy season so far.
Yes, indeed. So, all right, we had 9 early games, I do believe. So we'll talk about those 4 late games, I believe. Is that Rams game over with yet? Is it still going?
It is over. LA won 26-20 in overtime.
So, wow, overtime there. All right, so that's cool. So we're going to break that down for you. And of course, tonight, as your Sunday night football game is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. They are hosting Joe Flacco and the Indianapolis Colts. I said Joe Flacco, not Anthony Richardson.
That's going to be nuts. Footsteps is back, baby. I hate that he plays for the Colts now, but I love Joe Flacco, man. He did it for the Browns last season, and as much as I like AR and as much as I wanted AR to get a chance to develop this season, Joe Flacco gives the Colts a legitimate path to the playoffs.
And see, we don't like him, right, Tony? We remember the Joe Flacco from the Baltimore Ravens. Are you shocked at how this guy is able to resurface his career?
A little bit, but he's a veteran, so he knows how to play, and so he does what he has to do.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. We will keep you up to date. That is your Sunday night NBC game. I guess it's on Peacock or wherever you want to find it. These games are just it's so hard to, and I'm going to rant for a little bit because the NFL, if you own the direct TV package, you get the package, right? So you pay $500-$600 for that package now. And that does not include those games where they play on
anything else. Peacock, Amazon, they're so spread out. They did a metric at the beginning of the season where it's like $568 a year to have everything, to be able to watch every game from start to finish.
Oh, so it's an add-on there.
It's literally you're so spread out because you have to have Peacock, you have to have Amazon Prime, you have to have YouTube TV or Direct TV or whatever your base is that gives you the majority of the games, and then there's a couple other ones that are spread out. So at the end of the year, it's like $568 total to cumulatively have all of the games all season.
Yeah, it's just amazing. You remember when it first started out? How I think it was like $199. It's just unbelievable. So good luck getting all of these apps and things, because if you're like me, you got subscriptions you're paying for, you don't know what the hell it is. It's unbelievable. But anyway, we're going to get back on track here. So hopefully you're watching us on, or if YouTube, we're streaming live on ESPN, YouTube, and of course Twitch. You can also catch the show live on Twitch. We wave every once in a while and see, I hope we all look good. They're going to let us know if we don't. It doesn't matter how we look as long as we know what the hell we're talking about, right?
It's a sports show. Yeah.
It's a sports show. So, all right, how about we sort of just get into the Sunday night game? Not the Sunday night game, the Thursday night game that happened last week. I don't know what happened. C.J. Stroud did come out and apologize, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think what has happened, Jacob, to the Texans' offensive line?
I think, it's the offensive line. It's the offensive scheme by Slowick, and then it's also the offensive line. I think Stroud's just lost confidence in them, and for good reason. I mean, we're allowing more pressures than any other team in the NFL right now. The Patriots have shored things up. The Browns, with Jameis Winston at the helm, have shored things up. So statistically, the Texans have had the worst efficiency as an offensive line in the NFL this week. And it really starts and ends with, Bobby Slowick doesn't scheme Stroud out of the pocket, right? We leave him as a statue behind an offensive line that's very porous. And then our offensive line just can't keep up with their passing assignments. And there's no way out unless the Texans swing for a trade, maybe Mr. Miles Teller from the Browns, or maybe a guard somewhere out there. Kenyon Green's out for the season now, so we'll see what we have in a backup. His backup did come in against who did we play last week? He came in last week regardless. And for the one drive, Kenyon Green's backup was in. We scored. The offense looked amazing. They moved down the field, scored a touchdown, and then Patterson was out with a concussion. So we lost him. Again, it was an immediate thing. Kenyon Green comes back in, but now he's out for the year. So, I mean, we'll see. It is a mixture between the offensive line and Slowick's offensive scheme and his inability to change his scheme should things not be working, in my opinion.
It's I don't think the panic button should be pushed here in the city because, first of all, look, they lose 21-13. I kind of thought and knew at some point in time Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams would connect and get it together, and they did. It just happened to be against the Texans, and
well, I tell you,
not happy about that.
The one thing, I don't have very many bad things to say about DeMeco Ryans this year. I love him as a coach, but at the end of the game, when the Jets scored that go-ahead touchdown to Devontae Adams, right? Aaron Rodgers lofted the ball. It was a fly. Devontae caught it in the end zone. They had our nickel, Jalen Petrie, covering him man-to-man, and there was absolutely no reason to have Jalen Petrie covering Devontae Adams man-to-man. There's a reason he was moved to the nickel. It was because as a coverage safety, he was not necessarily top tier, and he got blasted by Devontae Adams, and that gave the Jets the win. So, I mean, it's schematically, like that probably could have been avoided. It just was not.
AJ, what about that catch, though? Let's hear that catch that happened in that game. Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson.
Four-man rush. Rodgers to the end zone. And Wilson, can he one-handed and stay in bounds?
The left shin hit the ground inbounds before the knee.
Well, 10 years ago in this ballpark, on the other side of the field, Odell Beckham won one of the great one-handed grabs.
Unbelievable stuff. So, look, there are two sound bites or videos that are being showed over and over again. If it wasn't the Bears and the Washington Commanders,
the Hail
Mary, this one is not getting shown enough. That was one hell of a catch.
Yes, it was.
It's been a point of contention, right? Like since Thursday. How does your shin go down before your foot? And that's been the big topic of conversation. It was an amazing catch.
When it comes to replay, you're damn if you do. Sometimes you just play the game, get rid of it. But in that particular case, you needed every inch of replay to see exactly what happened there.
Nuts.
Yeah, it was incredible. So anyway, they get it done. And then how about the I don't know, was this a design play for Devontae Adams to say, "Oh, I got a concussion. I'm gonna go in the tent. I'm going in the locker room, and then I feel better now. Throw me the ball."
Comes back like Superman. Yeah, what is that, man? Devontae Adams must be Superman. That's what it was.
It's crazy. So, here on Underdog, I'm struggling. I need Aaron Rodgers to get me like one more point. He's at 14. And then I got Devontae Adams. I just need 16 fantasy points or whatever, and I got it all on that one play. It's just crazy, but I don't know. That's the Jets, who are now 3-6, I do believe.
3-6, and they could make a run. Maybe the Jets turning the tide.
They could make a run. I don't know, but
that division sucks.
Are they going to sneak up on who's the second place team in that division anyway?
Or the second best is going to be Miami. Well, Miami and them are tied, right?
It might be them now.
I think they're 3-6. They're tied.
How do you go from 2-6 to being a contender in the AFC?
I think Miami's still 2-6.
So Miami lost.
Miami
today.
lost today. Yeah.
Right.
So the Jets are in second place.
So it could happen for Aaron Rodgers. I don't have a lot of good things to say about Aaron Rodgers, but look, getting Devontae Adams, he just brought everybody over from Green Bay that would listen to him, right? For the most part. Did you see the side eye he gave Devontae Adams? I figured of all people, he gave him the side eye for running the wrong route.
I mean, at least he's keeping accountability, right? Like Rodgers brought in all of his own guys. He's been vocal about Alan Lazard's drops and things like that. Very vocal about Mike Williams running the wrong routes. And if he's holding Devontae Adams accountable as well, I mean, at least there's that, right? Okay. No matter all the bad you can say, at least there is that.
All right. Well, we're going to be held accountable too. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, folks, we're going to get more into week 9 of the NFL, the scores and highlights and all of that stuff. It's the Mean Gene Show right here on ESPN 97.5 H-Town.
You're listening to the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
For the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Mean Gene.
All right, folks, we are just getting into the meat and potatoes of Week 9 of the NFL here on the Mean Gene Show. Jacob Meadows from the coach's quarters, AJ behind the glass, and our special guest in the studio, if you're watching us on YouTube, is my former mentor and great friend, Tony King. Tony is into Tony, we're going to talk about the Cowboys and Falcons. Man, you watched a little bit of this game today. Well, we was forced to watch it, right, because we went over another friend's house, and that's the only damn game they had on the TV.
Until we told them about Red Zone.
Until we told them about the Red Zone. So anyway, the Dallas Cowboys, me and Dustin Pfeiffer did our NFL Weekly Countdown show this week, and I think we both picked the Falcons, but until the last couple of weeks, the Cowboys have won every game on the road, and they've still yet to win a game at home. They lose in Atlanta 27-21 today, and AJ, okay. Well, I tell you what, let's hear the soundbite from Cousins to London.
Robinson's come out of the game. Here's Cousins, looks, lobbing, end zone, caught, touchdown, Drake London.
Yeah, I don't know what the perfect quarterback rating is today, but Kirk Cousins was pretty damn close to it. 19 of 24, 222 yards, 3 touchdowns with a 144.8 rating. That was incredible. AJ, I mean, what are you seeing? I know this is your team, and I'm being serious now because I know we give the Cowboys a hard time, but when is it going to be time to hit the panic button with the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, I don't panic at all at this point. It is what it is with Jerry Jones being in charge, but one thing I got to say is embrace the tank. I mean, there's one thing about losing like this. I mean, I never really realistically expected them to, win the Super Bowl, especially being so top heavy and having CD get the contract, Dak Prescott getting the contract. Really, I mean, at this point, there's so many flaws in the team and so many injuries too. When you have so many injuries on the team, I mean, you can't really contend at all. So with that being said, I mean, I'm just looking forward to potentially drafting some more reinforcements. Hopefully, Jerry Jones, this will wake him up and he can actually do something in free agency, try to sign some people to help fill out the roster. But embrace the tank. I love the Cowboys, but I mean, it is what it is. I got to be real. And for me, it's basketball season. It's go Devin Booker,
I
go
got
Rockets, all that stuff.
Sound like you moving on.
Yeah,
AJ.
for sure. I mean, I don't watch football, obviously, but
Tony, anything you notice about these Cowboys at 3-5 now in the NFC?
No, I'm a little surprised that they're this far down. I didn't think they were. I thought they were probably a good contender for a Super Bowl run this year, but I didn't think that they were. You heard the Cowboys fans talking about them. They thought this was the year, and I didn't think it was, and I didn't think they were going to be where they're at right now. But it doesn't look good for them. With Dak going down today with a hamstring injury, I'm not even sure if that's going to play out for him. So we'll see.
Jacob, I mean, is it time to hit the button?
I mean, it's time to hit the button, but kind of like what AJ said. I mean, it's a down year. You embrace the tank, which tanks in quotations, right? That's illegal. But you embrace the tank, and you do get to see kind of what some of these younger players are capable of. Like Rico Dowdle has really separated himself as the best running back in the running back room. Do they need more reinforcements at RB? Yes, of course. But Rico Dowdle's capable of at least being a first and second down back, if not a third down back if he had to be. I mean, Cooper Rush came in today, and he looked pretty decent, all things considered, right? I mean, CD gets hurt towards the end of the game, and it's accumulation of, like, they should have gone out and gotten a receiver in the offseason. Had they done that, they probably wouldn't be in this situation. Kevondre Turpin's probably not the answer at wide receiver 2, right? Brandon Cooks is on the shelf. CD may be hurt. Dak is on the shelf for however long he may be on the shelf. So it's, Jake Ferguson's the best player on the team.
The best $260 million money can buy you.
Did they pass up on getting the guy out of Baltimore?
A running back?
Yeah.
It's almost like Derrick Henry could have helped this team out.
AJ, what happened with Zeke? We know he got team suspension or something. What led to that?
Apparently, he had been missing meetings or something like that. That's from a report I had saw. So
wow.
I don't know how he's. Yeah, exactly. He thinks he's so privileged. He's not even close to remotely the same player that he was. So for him to be lackadaisical like that, come on.
And right before a big game like this, and
he should have been the one sideline instead of Dowdle last week. I mean, that was ridiculous.
For sure.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, just unbelievable. So back-to-back road losses for the Dallas Cowboys, something that hasn't happened this year. And they have still yet to win a game in Dallas, and the season is just beginning for them. They got some tough games coming up here in the next. They still got to play the Eagles twice, got to play the Washington Commanders twice.
They got to lose as many as they can, though.
Embrace the tank.
Yeah, you want to get the best pick you can get. I mean, you can't get swept by the Eagles and Commanders.
The best pick was Derrick Henry, don't you? That was the best pick.
Maybe they knew this was coming. Maybe they knew they didn't have the actual talent to contend, so they didn't bring Derrick Henry because they knew they'd lose 10 slots in the draft. Like they knew they wouldn't make the Super Bowl if they brought Derrick in one way or the other. So this was just kind of, they moved beyond Derrick Henry, and they're just looking forward to the next 2 seasons as they do a soft rebuild.
We thought about getting Jerry on the show, but I didn't want to get fired because Jerry goes after guys like us, so you can't really badmouth the Cowboys. But hey, at 3-5 Dallas, they also have a big date with the Houston Texans in 2 weeks. That's going to be an incredible Monday night game. Don't want to get caught looking ahead right now, but it is on the horizon. But let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons real quick, because at 6-3 now, and Tampa Bay plays the Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow night. I think the Falcons are already in first place in the NFC South, but this was a big win for them.
Yes.
It sure was. And with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both on the shelf for Tampa Bay, and the New Orleans Saints looking like they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if they wanted to. Like the Falcons have this division. There's nothing that can stop them. Bryce Young right now is the best quarterback in that division, not named Kirk Cousins. So yeah, I mean, Atlanta's got it in the bag. All they have to do is stay afloat. This is more of a just as long as you can stay swimming, they'll be totally fine. They'll get an easy trip into the playoffs. Not to say that they don't have to earn their role and they need a good seed to be able to go anywhere in the playoffs, but I mean, that division is theirs to lose.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So cannot wait to see what happens tomorrow night with the Chiefs and the Bucks. Okay, all right. How about we look at another game now? We sat here and debated in this studio before we got on air who was going to be our "What Had Happened Was" segment. We officially had the Bears in there for their 20-point loss today to the Arizona Cardinals. So the Cardinals win 29-9. Bears are 4-4. Cardinals are 5-4. Cardinals are first place right now in the NFC West.
Wild.
Depending on what. So did the Rams win?
Yes, the Rams won.
So I mean, that division right there is beating up on each other. But okay, look, this was the Bears' first game after giving up that Hail Mary last week to the Commanders. And I am so disappointed that the most they could put up today was 9 points against the Arizona Cardinals.
It's a rough look, right? Like at face value, it looks like, maybe Caleb Williams really does have a problem with standing in the face of losses. Like you saw the same thing when he was in college. They play the good teams. The defense allows a gazillion points, right? Like he didn't lose any games in college because of him. His defense gives up too many points. He can't compete, right? He can't just go back and forth the entire time. They lose by 4. And then they have all these pictures of him crying in the stands. And I mean, really, when he's standing in the face of adversity, maybe he doesn't rebound that well. And that was something in his draft notes coming out of college. And I mean, putting up 9 points of offense on the heels of that Hail Mary. Yeah.
Today, so
no picks. He didn't have an absurdly bad day.
It wasn't the best good day. But Tony, look, you live in Southern California, so you certainly have heard a lot about Caleb Williams. I'm a big USC fan. I still think he's a good quarterback, but when you see the good, we praise him on the good, but we have to call out the bad when we see it. But this looked like one of those USC games where, it was like Utah beating the brakes off of them, which they own USC. So, I mean, is the hype? He's nowhere near Jaden Daniels.
No, he's not. But I do believe Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. I think in time he's going to pan out for him. So.
Okay, all right.
But just to add, talking about the Cardinals, I mean, we do need to give them their flowers.
Oh yeah, yes.
At 5-4, I didn't realize they was in first, but they're in first place, and they've already beaten. Most of us thought the 49ers, that was the 49ers division. Mm-hmm. They have beaten the 49ers in San Francisco already. So the Cardinals may make some noise.
They may take that division. Yeah, what a crazy year.
So would you believe me if I told you that neither Caleb Williams or Kyler Murray had touchdown passes today?
No.
Or interceptions? No. Kyler Murray, 13 of 20, 154 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So, how the hell, what happened? They should have been the what had happened was, okay? So I did see what's his name? DeMarcado.
Running back. So the only people
the guy that's always available in our fantasy, nobody takes him.
The only people that know who he is play the Madden football game on Xbox or whatever.
I see him all the time.
He's got a 99 speed rating. He's super fast. He's very good with the little quick step plays, and he made that amazing run today.
He gets in the end zone, and then some guy by the name of, is it Trey Benson? You know, every Sunday I find myself going, who the hell is that guy? Because he's not on my fantasy team and he's not on anybody else's, but they're scoring touchdowns. So Trey Benson gets a touchdown, and McBride.
Trey McBride.
Yeah. So it's Trey McBride. What's Benson's name? I thought it was Trey. But anyway, so how about this? Neither one of the quarterbacks, it wasn't the fireworks that we thought it was going to be, because it just looked like it had, oh, man, Bears coming off that embarrassing loss last week. You know, the Cardinals, they tend to win one, lose one, win one, lose one. But, man, don't go to sleep. They get that. You talking about a division that's up for grabs. The NFC West is going to go down to the last week of the season.
You're not kidding. I mean, that's probably the most fun division this year. And it's not because they're the greatest teams that have ever played football either. Like they have had sloppy games. It's a lot of good defense, and it's a lot of ground and pound football. These teams are running the ball. The Seahawks are running well. The Rams have a top 5 running back in the league this year. James Conner's running well.
Oh yeah, Conner had a good day.
He had a great day today. Yeah. And it's the reliance on the run game. This division, it's like an old school division. This season alone, right? We'll go into next season. Everybody will be throwing the ball like normal. But they're all buying into that run-first offense, and they are just beating the mess out of each other.
And you better pay attention to the Arizona Cardinals, because quietly they have won 4 of the last 5.
Mm-hmm.
So and they're running the ball, as Jacob said.
Yeah, exactly.
They're running the ball. They're running off 200 yards today, I believe.
Don't fall asleep on these guys. And we saw what the Rams did today. And then the 49ers, of course, has a bye this week. And we'll talk about the Seahawks and what they did here in a little bit. But, folks, hey, stick with us here. It looked like the Sunday night football game is underway. When we come back, we'll get you an update on what's going on in Minnesota between the Colts and the Vikings. It is the Mean Gene Show with Jacob Meadows and Tony King in studio with us today right here on ESPN 97.5.
You're listening to ESPN 97.5.
Are you on the sidelines when it comes to online sports betting, but you've been thinking about giving it a shot? Consider MyBookie! Paul Gallant here. MyBookie.ag makes it super easy to get started, and they'll even double your first deposit with our promo code BET975. Once on board, the website and mobile site are simple to navigate and fun to bet on. What's your game? NFL, college football, NBA, it's all there and a whole lot more. Thursdays, MyBookie has a risk-free bet boost. If your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, no problem. MyBookie will refund your wager. Let's talk bonuses. As I said, new players can double their first deposit. If you've already played on MyBookie, they have reload bonuses. And they also have referral bonuses if you want to get your friends to play. Go to MyBookie.ag, click on bonuses, and use promo code BET975. MyBookie.ag, promo code BET975. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime, only with MyBookie.ag, promo code BET975.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right? It's comfortable. So how's civilian life treating you? It's fine. When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine. But if you're not, it's okay. Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
This is the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, moving right along here, first hour, Sunday, November 3rd, 2024. Look, you might be missing the show if you didn't set your clocks back. And I know a lot of people didn't. And for all of you folks that, you bought these new cars and you have no earthly idea how to change your clocks back. Do they change themselves now, Tony?
Some of them.
Some of them do?
Yep.
Not mine. It took me about 6 months to figure. I waited till the next damn daylight saving times. It just automatically got back to the right time any damn way. So that's how I do it sometimes. But anyway, you're supposed to change your clocks back, which means it gets dark now, right? Is that what it is? Gets
early.
Yeah, it gets dark early. So, all right, no score in Minnesota. 0-0 as they tend to, that looks like the coach there was trying to draw up something. So Flacco is on the bench. Sam Darnold's out there. So maybe Sam Darnold. Are you surprised, Tony, at Sam Darnold? Because he was not a great USC quarterback.
I'm happy for him, though.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely happy for him.
When he came out, I think he had some high.
Yeah.
A high ceiling, and then it just didn't work out. But he looked like he's found a home.
This is his fifth team in 4 years, 5 years.
He's
maybe?
Looking good right now, and got Minnesota playing well. I know Detroit took him apart last week, but I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
it's a good perseverance. It's a good story about perseverance.
Good stuff. Okay, well, as soon as someone scores, we'll give you an update. So speaking of, falling apart, or how about the Bengals? The Cincinnati Bengals are now 4-5, so AFC North don't blink. Steelers and Ravens. The Bengals may have found their way. They beat the Raiders today, 41-24. So let me see how many fingers I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's how many touchdown passes Joe Burrow had today.
With none to Jamar Chase.
And how many to Jamar Chase?
None.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. He's on my fantasy team. That's why you threw it. Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, how do you have – I'm thinking that's 5 touchdowns. Easy. He couldn't even get one of those, Joe Burrow. You couldn't hit your homeboy who you went to college with?
Nuts. And Mike Gesicki had a good day. This was Mike Gesicki's day, and he deserves all his roses for what he did today after, not necessarily being used correctly last year. But, yeah, it was crazy seeing Jamar Chase because he was running routes. He was open. This Joe Burrow, he was hitting everybody else on the team. This was the most balanced game they've played.
It was unreal. So he, 27-39, man, he's chunking that ball, right? He would definitely put that ball up, 251 yards. 115 quarterback rating. How about Mike Gesicki, who also sits there in available? Nobody drafts this guy, and he's one of those tight ends. When he played with the Dolphins, he was actually getting the ball all the time. But you know who was giving it to him? It was what's my guy that does
Tannehill?
No, it wasn't. No, it was the he does the Fitzpatrick. Hitting him all the time.
That makes sense.
So now he's, what a connection there between him and Joe Burrow. But look, okay, Raider fans probably not gonna like what I'm gonna say. Y'all suck.
Bad. They're bad, man.
I'm sorry.
It's hard to defend.
And I like the Raiders.
I like the Raiders too. That whole organization is bad.
They're probably not going to let us back in Vegas.
No,
after hearing this,
we'll just have to buy shirts.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
Yeah, that's all we have to do. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with the Raiders. Minshew, they have Ritter on that team who might be
the answer.
Might be taking somebody's job. So. Did Aiden O'Connell get hurt? Is that?
Yeah, he broke his. I think he broke the thumb on his throwing. And he's out 4 to 5 weeks from last week.
So that's why. So Ritter is getting a chance. Ritter, you guys remember, used to play for the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
And but anyway, not a good day for the Raiders. Jacoby Myers probably had a good day. He was targeted 11 times, 105 yards. Just interesting stuff there. But are you surprised, Tony?
I'm not surprised at the score today. I don't think this score is indicative how close. That game wasn't really close. I think the Raiders scored a couple of touchdowns for Wendell Russell's late. But I do believe the Bengals are starting to find their footing. I know they lost to Baltimore, but they played Baltimore tough. Baltimore's just made one extra play to win that game in the end against them.
Yeah, that was it. It just seemed like, and I've talked with some people. I talked with my cousin, a big Raiders fan in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He said it just looked like Antonio Pierce when he was in that interim role was so rah, and now it just seems like I don't know if he doesn't care. He's working on a 2-year contract, which is like the minimum that I've ever seen a head coach get. So I don't know. Just I don't know. Are they on the clock? I think the Raiders on the clock.
I think he's too worried. They need to fire Luke Getsy, their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I heard
that.
That
needs to be the first person gone. They need to put him on a ship and send him somewhere else because that dude is terrible. He destroyed the Bears, and for whatever reason, the Raiders are like, no, he'll be good here. And he's not. He's a terrible
he's the one
coordinator.
that ruined Justin Fields.
Yeah. And they brought him in. They're like, yeah, this guy's our savior.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's not. Anybody else. And you can pull any name out of a hat. They're going to be a better OC than Luke Getsy. And that needs to be their first act this offseason is to find somebody who can call an offense. They can have Bobby Slowick.
A team that goes through so much turnover, if it's not the offensive coordinator, coach, it's the quarterbacks. And we used to see that inconsistency with the Cleveland Browns. You remember, Tony, there was a 10-year period where the Browns had 17 quarterbacks. And that's just unheard of, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when you look at like a Green Bay and a New England Patriots, But anyway, so Raiders, they are 2-7, probably going to be on the clock here pretty soon. All right, the next game we have is the New England Patriots, also 2-7, and they faced the Titans today, 2-6. So if you watch this game, you was bored as hell, first of all. All right, so we didn't watch it. Good thing we got the updates, though. The Titans win in overtime. Imagine a game that already sucks, then it goes into overtime. So somebody had to deal with this game. Man, good win for the Titans.
Good win for the Titans. They've pulled off 2 wins, and honestly, they didn't deserve this one. It sucked. It sucked watching the Patriots lose, and I will never say that again because I grew up in the Tom Brady era, and there was nothing more frustrating than knowing that your team was vying for second place in the AFC. But I feel bad for the Patriots. Should have kept Mike
Vrabel. I keep saying that till I'm blue in the face.
Should have. But Drake May's a football guy, and it sucked watching him lose today. Because of the heroics.
You wanted him to win.
I did. I'm cheering so hard for Drake May. Yeah. I didn't like him coming out of college. I thought he was going to suck. He's now on my fantasy team. And he plays good ball. He sees the field really well. He's able to progress through reads better than most rookies can. And I'm cheering for this guy because he doesn't have much of a supporting cast. And still, week in and week out, he is being competitive.
Yeah, we saw a play today where he was just scrambling, and good Lord, he found somebody, and he just did not look like a rookie quarterback, what we saw today.
Not at all.
All right, so look, sorry, no score from Minnesota. There was almost a score. Sam Darnold threw a deep pass, which was intended for Naylor, and it was intercepted by the Colts, Franklin. So, wow, Indy is not trying to, with a 4-4 record, Indy's trying to hang tight there. And look, and we already know the Vikings have lost 2 in a row, and they're at home for this one.
The bubble's bursting, I think. And it doesn't make a lot of sense. Sam Darnold is avoiding throwing to Jordan Addison. There's got to be something wrong there. Justin Jefferson looks a little off. I mean, I know he's had good weeks, but it's like the chemistry has been broken between
Something's
Sam Darnold
going on there.
and
A team that started 5-0 and who was the first team to beat them? Was it Detroit, right?
It was Detroit.
Well, Detroit kind of.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty good at football. Yeah, they're in Detroit. So
I don't know. I mean, just looking at that pass there, I don't know. AJ, what did you see? Did he throw it into double coverage?
Yeah, essentially. I guess he was confused by one of the linebackers or safeties that was disguised, and he ended up coming up and picking up the ball off. So, but it looked bad, on replay for sure.
Yeah, it did. I saw it. Yeah. So anyway. No score. That resulted in a touchback, that interception. So we start all over again. And as soon as we get you something, we'll let you know. Minnesota is sort of controlling, I guess, if you want to say the time of possession. They got they've already ran 11 offensive plays to Indy's 5, so they must be controlling the time of possession.
They need to be worried about the Colts.
That was a wasted opportunity there, though, because it really looked like they had something going. So, all right, I tell you what here. So, have you been to any games this year? No. Jacob,
I went to the Texans Colts game, the last one, that big dub where Anthony Richardson pulled himself out because he was tired. I was at that game. Wow. We had good seats too. Yeah. It was a dope game. It was awesome. We got the sweep. It was great.
Well, I got the sweep, but I'm glad you brought that up, Jacob, because I tell you what, that has been the talk of the week. A guy who. They have so many expectations of him. They drafted him high. Mm-hmm. And when the last time you've ever seen a starting quarterback says, I want to come out the game because I'm tired.
He should have lied. There's been a lot of quarterbacks that have done it over the course of time. He should have lied, should have said he had to use the bathroom, should have said he was hurt. Like anything, just don't say that you're tired. You can't say that. It's a lying situation.
It's really scary, though, because, and look, and I think the Colts didn't waste any time putting Flacco in and stated that he will play for the rest of the year. And whether Richardson feels better or not.
Exactly. And then they had to come out and they were like, we're not giving up on Anthony Richardson. We're not I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up on the trade block by the end of his rookie contract. And it's going to be mostly because of this. He was a developmental player from the beginning. He's developing rather slowly. And I think that's just kind of the way they're going with it.
Well, but this also sends a signal to teams that are just really gun happy to start these rookie quarterbacks. I mean, some you can, some you can't. Mm-hmm. It's not a one-size-fit-all. You really have to vet these guys and see. We saw what happened, and Dustin Pfeiffer's going to join us from Valley Sports Southeast here in the next segment. We're going to talk about Bryce Young, who didn't get the opportunity to say he was tired. We knew he was tired because he was playing tired. They took him out, and now he's getting like a second opportunity. And I had said all along that Andy Dalton should have been the starter because who better to learn from than a veteran like Dalton. So I don't know. This is sort of ass backwards here with a quarterback, your high pick. What they have, like the number 2, 3 pick or 4 pick?
I think it was fourth. I think he went fourth.
Yeah, that's scary because you investing a lot of money into these rookie quarterbacks.
Well, it's like the Colts knew they shouldn't have taken him at 4 anyways. It's only because everybody's gun happy on quarterbacks, and if you don't take them in the top 7 picks, they're going to be gone, and then you're picking between the tier 2s and the tier 3s. So every year they reach on these quarterbacks, and AR was always meant to be developed.
But taking them is fine. Develop these guys. Sometimes you really got to know whether he's ready to go day one. And versus, C.J. Stroud, some of these guys, even, you can say, well, look at Jaden Daniels, look at Caleb Williams. I still think that if you got a good veteran quarterback, you should play that veteran and still let that rookie learn behind him. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, so with Richardson, he does it. What his biggest, I think he passed the metrics, the eyeball test. He can. Mm-hmm. Big arm, he's got good size, he's a good run. But it turns out that he's not very accurate. That is his biggest thing. I mean, even even last year when he was having success, they were high on him. He wasn't really accurate still. He had some big throws, and I think that kind of masked what was a problem that's come to full head now. And now now they got to reevaluate where they're going.
Well, AJ, I think we're tired right now. Can we take a break? No, we just want to take a break. We don't want to talk no more. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we will bring on Dustin Pfeiffer, my co-host from the Sports Kings NFL Weekly Countdown Show. We're going to talk about that big Panthers win today. And we're going to do that right here on ESPN 97.5 H-Town.
Listening to the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, last segment, first hour here at Mean Gene Show, ESPN 97.5. We are moving right along with the scores and updates from Week 9 of the National Football League. But I know this guy right here could not wait. My partner in crime, just 3 or 4 days ago, we picked this game, and I'll let him tell you who he picked. But anyway, from Valley Sports Southeast, covering the Panthers and the Charlotte Hornets of the NBA. Dustin, are you partying?
MeanGene, what's going on? Listen, anytime the Panthers get a win, we got a party. It doesn't happen often around here, but we got a party. But excuse my voice, I've actually been yelling at baseball kids all weekend long in a baseball tournament. So it's been a busy weekend, but you're right. Panthers get a win, and it's the second win of the season and the first time they've won a game at home in a long time.
Now, Dustin, okay, so we have Jacob on, and then I have a great friend of mine, former lieutenant commander in the Navy, and he's a great football fan. He's a Steelers fan, so you be nice to him, Dustin. No. Yeah, you be nice to him. We saw some of that Panthers game there, and I said I cannot wait to talk to Dustin about this because I think we both picked the Saints, right? Derek Carr coming back.
No, excuse me. Let me correct you right there.
Okay.
I had the Panthers in this game.
You haven't picked the Panthers for the last couple of weeks, but this week you did, and I told you too. I wouldn't be surprised if they won, but Derek Carr and the Saints, man, looking at 2-7. They're tied with the Panthers now, but what a monumental win for the Panthers, but what a big upset for the Saints, who haven't won a game since they started 2-0.
Yeah, it's rough times in New Orleans. And guys, I don't know if you've seen the tweets and stuff after the games, but Cam Jordan immediately after the game said, "We lost to the Panthers." I can't believe this. I feel bad for New Orleans. You got former Saint Michael Thomas calling out Derek Carr for what he thinks throwing the ball and getting Chris Olave injured. It is bad times if you're a New Orleans Saints fan. And listen, for the Panthers, it's just one win. They're still 2-7. Still a long way to go in this rebuild. But for the new coach, Dave Canales, for them to fight to get that win and finally get a win in front of their home fans, I think it's big. And I think it's a big step for Bryce Young. Was his numbers spectacular? No, they weren't spectacular, but he played good enough football for that team to win. He only had one turnover, and if you saw that play, it was actually one of his best throws of the game to Leggett, and the cornerback just ripped the ball away from him. And then his first game-winning drive as a starting quarterback, he leads them down the field, scores that go-ahead touchdown with Chuba Hubbard, and then they get a stop on fourth down to win the game. So he at least has some positive momentum going for this coaching staff. And for the young guys, they've got a lot of young guys stepping up on offense right now.
You know what's crazy about the stats? I'm looking at them right now. There was only one stat that the Panthers actually outperformed the New Orleans Saints on, and that happens to be the touchdowns, 3-2. Because anywhere else, the stats belong to the Saints. And
listen, and I got a stat for you, Gene, real quick. Mm-hmm. You said that. Bill Barnwell, I'll give him credit for this. He tweeted out, the New Orleans Saints outgained the Panthers by 150 yards. Mm-hmm. They ran for 150-plus yards and won the turnover battle. Over the last 20 years, teams that had done that were 275-0. So this is the first time where a team outgains another team by 150, runs for 150, and wins the turnover battle and still loses. So if you're a Saints fan, again, it's a train wreck.
It is a train wreck because how? If you look at, and these coaches, I know they look at the stats here. I mean, net yards, 427 to 246. Offensive plays, they had 74 to it just every category until you see, well, they had 3 touchdowns. That's why they won. That was the main one that counted. Right. So, Dustin, where do we go with Bryce Young moving forward? Because we know Andy Dalton hurt his thumb, right? So, is he out for the season, or are they going to roll with Bryce Young, or are they going to bring Dalton back?
Well, Andy Dalton was actually back at practice last week, and they said they wanted to go with Bryce this week, that they wanted to give Andy another week to fully heal, even though he was practicing. So I think it's kind of a cat-and-mouse game. I think Andy's actually healthy enough to play, but now I think they saw it, and I said it in the Denver game, Gene, even though they lost that game by 2 touchdowns. Bryce did not look that bad, and I think they're seeing slight improvements for him. Is he playing like a number 1 pick still? No, he's obviously not. But from what we saw the first 2 weeks of the season, where it was probably some of the worst quarterback play we've ever seen, to now to see some improvement, I feel like you got to stick with him. And after the game, Coach Dave Canales said he would not commit. But I don't see how Bryce Young gets a win, leads them on a game-winning drive, even though they were outgained by all those yards. I think you got to stick with the young guy and see what you got. And like I said, you've got him. You've got Xavier Leggett. You've got Jalen Coker. How about the rookie tight end from Texas, Jatavian Sanders, had 87 yards today? You've got to go with this young group and let them continue to grow. And Andy Dalton was not good before he got hurt. He was starting to fall off of those numbers. So I think you stick with Bryce. And I said it, Jim, this is why I picked the Panthers this week. If they were going to finally get a win or two here, because we know they're not going to win many games, it was going to be in this next 2-week stretch. They had the Saints at home, and now next Sunday they're traveling to Germany to play a bad Giants team. So this is the chance to get a couple wins and build some momentum going towards next year. And I think you stick with Bryce Young and see what he can do.
Now, here's one thing I want to know, and I think the guys would be interested in this too. Me and you've talked on our show. Are the Panthers in a position to play Bryce Young for a trade? Because his trade value will go up, especially after this win. You play him for the rest of the season. Expectations aren't that high for wins and losses, but if he plays well enough, do they trade Bryce Young?
Yeah, listen, it sounds like they're still getting calls from him, and with him playing at least halfway decent, I think those calls are only going to go up. So we'll see what happens with the trade deadline being on Tuesday. It's coming right around the corner. and this is just a personal opinion, if I'm the Panthers, I'll hold off on the trade. And again, I give Bryce Young these next few games to see what he can do the rest of the year. Then you have the whole, if you're still not sold on him then, and the coaching staff, the new coaching staff wants to move on, I think you can actually maybe get more for him in a trade in the offseason. So I think you give him a few more games, see what he can do, because again, Andy Dalton came out on fire, but if you don't remember, Andy Dalton really struggled the last 2 games before he got hurt, playing almost as bad as Bryce Young did. So go with the young guy, give him some reps, and then if he can't, if you're not bought in at the end of the season, go ahead and trade him. But I can tell you some other names, Gene. Watch out for Jadeveon Clowney, watch out for Adam Thielen, and watch out for Miles Sanders. Those are 3 veterans who are here, who are not on a winning football team, and they know the Panthers know that they could probably send them to a contending team and get some draft pick compensation for them. So those are 3 names that to watch out for because they're going full-on young rebuild with young players. And I think Thielen's already been mentioned to your Steelers, and Clowney's been mentioned to some contenders. So that's the names to look out for.
All right. Hey, Dustin, man, congratulations on the win. Say hi to the family, and we'll catch up with you this week on the NFL Weekly Countdown Show.
Absolutely. And real quick, Gene, let me just say to Jacob if he's out there, I don't know if he's checked his fantasy score, but he might want to check that.
Man, I was so
playing Jacob right now in fantasy?
Yeah.
Hey, did A-Chain go off on you too?
It didn't matter. It was Saquon, man.
I didn't even switch up my defense. I left the Steelers defense in on a bye by accident.
I saw that. I was like, I got a free 2 points off the Texas defense. We've got this. Then Saquon gave you 40, and I was like, God dang it, man.
Oh, man. Hey, Dustin. Well, look here, man. Enjoy your week, and we'll catch up with you, all right?
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Gene.
All right. Dustin Pfeiffer from the NFL Weekly Countdown Show, Bally Sports Southeast. And, man. So I kind of thought, guys, and the reason why I asked that question about Bryce Young, because, man, they had to bench him. And that just, totally different than what Anthony Richardson, requested to be benched. But it was good to see, and I like the relationship between him and Dalton. You don't really see that a lot between a starter and a backup.
It's like big and little brother.
Yeah.
And like this, you really did see the best Bryce Young we've seen in the NFL this week because like Dustin said, he only had the 1 turnover. If you watch the play, if Xavier Legette was Des Bryant, it would have been an incompletion. It wouldn't even have been a takeaway. Almost, right? Like he ends up falling to the ground with it, but like they stripped it out of his hands and fell to the ground with it. Like it had nothing to do with Bryce at all. Mm-hmm. Like this was his best game as a professional since he was drafted. So you ride it. Like
and my problem with him was he's just so small.
Yeah.
And Alabama was so dang talented that you just come on. You had an offensive line that could probably play all of those guys are in the NFL playing on Sundays now. And I don't know. He's going to get better, but this is one of those reasons why. And I told you, and boy, the Texans showed they'd make a good selection, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Taking C.J. Stroud because he was the number 1.
He was the most professional ready. He was big. He had all the intangibles.
Yeah.
He played at a big school. Yeah.
Big time Saturday games.
But there's been good small quarterbacks too. Drew Brees was small. Russell Wilson was the best quarterback on the planet for about 6 years. I mean, it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. So hopefully the Panthers owner won't get in the way because he's a very desperate guy. Look, when you're 2-7, you can't be desperate because nothing's going to happen. They will still come out of there with a draft pick this year and a high draft pick depending on what's going to happen. So all right. We have wrapped up the first hour, and by the way, no score in Minnesota. It is still 0-0, and don't you ask me who's winning, Jacob. So we are going to take a break, and we'll see you on the other side of the hour. It's the Mean Gene Show right here with Tony King and Jacob Meadows here on ESPN 97.5.
Hi, I'm David Pidgeon, the CEO of Star Power, inviting you to the 2025 Star Power Expo this weekend. This isn't just any sales event. It's your chance to experience the latest tech products and upgrade your home at unbeatable prices, like 40% off a huge selection of leather furniture. And if you visit StarPowerExpo.com, you'll get immediate access to extra savings you won't find anywhere else. See what's new at the Star Power Expo. For details, visit StarPowerExpo.com.
As you prepare to welcome a new baby, your team becomes all the more important. Friends, family, teachers, doctors, but there's one vital member of that team you might not know yet, your lactation consultant. Because even though breastfeeding may be natural, it's not always easy. The Lactation Network connects you with insurance-covered breastfeeding support through board-certified lactation consultants. With in-home and virtual care, they serve as your guide from first latch to pumping, your return to work, and beyond. Visit tln.care/podcast to find care now.
University Health in San Antonio, Texas is hiring nursing, radiology, and respiratory professionals. University Health is the premier Level 1 trauma center in South Texas. We have earned recognition as a 2022 top U.S. workplace. We offer relocation assistance and excellent benefits. If you are a nursing, radiology, or respiratory healthcare professional, we want to visit with you. Apply today at bestcareerssa.com. That's bestcareerssa.com.